Andrew, the mayor said pretty clearly earlier this week that she's not the blame for the failure of your local papers. So what do you say to that?
This business is a tough one. Media has not had an easy go over the last bunch of years, but Metro has had a particularly tough go when the Publisac ban was announced back in April 2022. There is no doubt whatsoever that the ban of our distribution method has devastated the economics of our business. So I think that's a statement that is just blatantly false. And furthermore, I would add that not only is it like a sidestepping, passing the blame, but the city has in their hands a economic transparency report that was shared with my employees back in May, but shared with the city a few weeks back. That it was done by a third party, the third party that helped form the cooperative in Quebec City, Le Soleil, etc. And in that economic transparency report, and the way it was explained to my employees and the way it was explained to everyone, it is absolutely clear that the city's ban on Publisac is the primary and only reason really that we find ourselves in financial difficulties today.
So I've heard a popular argument, Andrew, that, well, you know what, all media are going through this issue, right? The ad revenue has been cut. This will affect all media, and what happened to Metro Media was going to happen regardless. I've heard that argument. But the more I think about it, it seems to me like Metro Media perhaps was more immune than other outlets because you had this business model that was different. You know, I think about whether you're Journal de Montreal or your CTV Montreal, whatever outlet that you are in the city, if you have to rely primarily on advertising revenue, that is very different from when you're being distributed with all of these grocery store flyers, and that's paying the bills. So I'd love to know your take on that. Was Metro Media actually more immune than other outlets?
No. What I would say is those flyers were a convenient way for us to piggyback our newspapers into a distribution method for very cheap. So it's not that we were immune, but what we had done is we had figured out a 5-year roadmap back in 2020 that allowed us to phase out the print business because no one at Metro believed that was the future of local news in Montreal, and invest all the profits, all the surplus, all the dollars we received over the last years from project grants from Google, from the Minister of Culture, into a digital transformation so that we could build a rock-solid ecosystem that Montrealers from in all the different boroughs and the cities could take advantage of and be proud of. So, you know, for us, the future was positive. Our digital transition was well underway, and with stats that to me are quite impressive for a business our size. And no, we weren't immune to the digital landscape and the difficulties with advertising revenues, but we did have a very loyal customer base of small and medium-sized businesses in Montreal and Quebec City that had been supporting us for many, many years, and because they believed in the mission, kept supporting us through the digital transition. So the acceleration of our demise is, you know, circles back to the rapid transformation of our distribution method, or disappearance of our distribution method, as a matter of fact, which is what caused a lot of our difficulties.
So are you saying you just needed more time and that there should have been more support for more time?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, our biggest enemy was time. We needed to build our digital audience in an important way. We were well underway, 100,000 subscribers in 6 months, pretty solid. Newsletters going out, personalized to each borough, to each citizen. If I was able to straight line that over the next 2 years, where would we be? It would be quite a fantastic distribution method, a digital transformation well underway. And we know there's a lot of comparables in North America of small local media doing a transition, as a matter of fact, sidestepping the need to even use Facebook as a distribution method by getting direct contact with their subscribers and selling the ads in a new ecosystem that is safe from Google and Facebook.
We're with Andrew Mulé, CEO of Metro Media. Andrew, what are the stories that are now not going to be told now that your papers are no more?
You know, you can comb through our site and you can see that we cover, broad Montreal political, environmental, cultural topics. But if you, take the time to go down borough by borough and see the vast majority of the topics that we do. So like in each borough, from city council meetings or borough council meetings, from cultural events happening in hyperlocal environments, be it from St. Leonard to the Plateau or even to LaSalle, the examples are there. They're still available on our site to see while it's up. Just go on the borough, take a look. We're the only ones covering it. We're not talking about sometimes there's another journalist at the city council meeting. They're never there. It's just us covering municipal politics. And in the end, is Montreal, what is the difference, Elias, between Rosemont and the Plateau if there's not a media sort of highlighting the political discourse, what's happening on the ground? To me, it looks like the same borough. We have 108 elected officials now in Montreal. Do we really need that much political influence in Montreal if there's nobody covering the various political things and defending the citizens' rights? To me, it's a very strange thing, and it's very evident what will no longer be available to Montrealers and, frankly, to Quebecers, because we were an important voice to a lot of minority groups, a lot of new arrivals, working families that wanted their voice heard and wanted their voice projected to the province as well. So I think it's a very, very, very evident piece of the pie that will be missing over the next couple of years.
Is there any pathway back? Like, and I know the federal bill, like Bill C-18, I know Facebook and Meta, they're playing hardball here. But is there any pathway where maybe those big tech giants do come to the table and want to come down to a deal to pay you? Could you come back? Could Metro Media one day see the light of day?
One thing I won't do, Elias, is give false hope to the employees that have sacrificed so much for me over the last few years. I think that, I've met with the Minister of the Economy. I've met with the Minister of Culture. These people have promised in backroom that they would support local media and downloaded my application live. We're impressed with the digital transition. We're going to be there for you. We're going to make sure the institutions support you. Today, I have really nothing to show for all that. So it would be unwise, unfair, unprofessional of me to say otherwise. Is Google and Facebook ever going to come to the table to support local media? I mean, maybe, but frankly, you can't depend on that, and that won't help me finance the operations of our business anyhow at this stage.
Andrew, it's not lost on me that I'm now getting this flyer distribution called Radar. I believe it's the title of it, and it's not as good as what the Publisac used to be. But through all this whole mess and all of the things the city tried, at the end of the day, people are still getting these flyers in the mail or through the slot at their door, and now there's no news. Your final thoughts on that?
Story. Yeah, let's tell that story, right? Let's tell the story about a militant base that Projet Montreal wanted to quiet, that was harassing them to end the Publisac. Let's talk about why Montreal conveniently wanted to address that, because their recycling centers were so overrun and mismanaged over the last few years. Let's remember the facts of the story. And now let's remember that those same recycling centers are still overwhelmed by a bunch of paper that's being sidestepped from regulations in Montreal. And in the end, nothing changed for the recycling centers, and local media is dead. So it's a strange conclusion.
How would you describe your emotions right now?
I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm very saddened because, not only have I invested an amazing amount of my time and passion into this business, I love it genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I've made a lot of friends over the years. Elias, we've chatted a few times. It's a pleasure in this environment to work together. We have a rock solid mission. But the saddest part about the conclusion of this thing is I know with fact that Montrealers want local news. They want an epicenter in their community that tells them fact from fiction, stuff that's happening in the local economy. And how do I know that? And I mentioned this before. Google did a research project on Montreal's media habits, and 4 out of 5, 84% of Montrealers have a want for a local media in their community. So on top of it, so for me, I'm sad. I'm a Montrealer. I've been living on the island my entire life. I've been working to try to complete this mission, and now we're at a situation where we can't deliver. And to me, that's tragic, because who's going to restart this at this stage? The answer is probably no one.
Andrew, I want to thank you for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Elias.
Andrew Mulé is the owner of Metro Media.